Welcome to Genesis Global Radio, the origin of information. And now here's your host, Christine Larkin.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into Genesis Global Radio, the origin of information. I'm Christine Larkin. On today's segment, we'll be speaking with astrologer and artist Bonnie Prebula. Did you know Bonnie was the first pharmaceutical saleswoman in the Hawaiian Islands and eventually the first woman to own a chain of pharmacies there as well? Combining a diverse skill set, she later embarked on the fields of astrology and art and works with businesses and individuals alike in forecasting and inspiring their lives. She also boasts a successful 54-year marriage that resulted in 3 wonderful children, and she's here with us today to share her story and expertise. I'd like to give a warm welcome to Bonnie Prebula. Bonnie, thank you for joining us all the way from Honolulu.
Yes, aloha to you and our listeners.
Aloha. So, wow, you're a busy woman. You've had so many successes. And so let's start with astrology. What drew you to this?
Well, like everybody else, I read the newspaper forecasts for fun for years. And then I moved to Hawaii, my husband and I and the children, and I met an astrologer in the neighborhood who gave lessons for the real thing. And I was fascinated, and that was probably a good thing because it is a deep subject which requires a lot of study.
Yeah.
So I have studied it, tested it, and for validity over 35 years.
So where do you start when you say the real thing? Let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you were reading that, I don't know, I can't say was it real, was it not, but you obviously felt that there was further authenticity that you needed to explore. So where did you begin with that?
Well, I studied to be a pharmacist, so I came from a scientific background, and just was fascinated by metaphysics and had no experience in it. So we started out by understanding sun signs, characteristics, and then it went to planets and then transits and became more and more involved.
Yeah, further out into that incredible universe. So did it start with the Greeks, astrology? Can you give us a little background there?
Well, it started farther back than that, I think, as the cavemen and so forth observed the heavens and started seeing what happened with certain signs in their heavens.
And what were some of the first things that they saw?
Well, probably the planet Venus, because that shines very close to us, and the constellations they would have watched, and and their wise men would have used everything they could to help their people.
You know, when I look up at the sky at night, of course, Venus and Jupiter are so apparent. And this time of year, you have the Orion, which is just a magnificent constellation. And then within Orion, you have Betelgeuse. And I'm learning quite a bit because I am also so fascinated with the night sky and the constellations. And Betelgeuse is some 640 million light years away. It's burning up, and apparently soon could be within this year, which is ebbing and coming to a close. But any time now it could burn out, and it'll be so bright that it'll look like at night we have 2 moons for about a month. There'll be no darkness. Quite fascinating. So I was actually out last night looking up at it, and it's twinkling there in the heavens, so beautiful. And it has like a red tinge to it. It's just lovely.
Just think what caveman would have thought when 2 moons appeared.
Could you imagine? Wow.
What could that prophesy?
Yeah. And hey, if it happens in our lifetime, which it's supposed to, it'll be quite a spectacle, an amazing thing to see. So, Bonnie, what should one do before declaring themselves an astrologer?
Well, I recommend testing the textbook writings and on all your friends and relatives, because you can see what's happening in their lives pretty constant. And so check it for validity to see if it really matches what's written and how does it work. And these experiences and your confidence in them will determine if you are on the way to being an astrologer.
Do you have to have any special skill? Like, we have mediums and we've got, clairvoyance. Is it within that genre, or is it really a separate science altogether?
It is a science, but many of us use that added psychic dimension to interpret.
So when did you discover that you may have a talent here?
After all that testing, I watched my family, what's going on with them, you know. And then I look at my books, well, that's the aspect. Well, yes, that follows those characteristics of action or full moon or, those you watch and test.
Yeah. So the proof is in the pudding? Yeah.
And then I use this information for timing and forecasting for myself and my businesses and other businesses and individuals.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. So if I remember correctly, are you a Capricorn?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I thought so.
You are too.
That's right. We have birthdays coming up. We're heading into that. Oh boy. So what do you think? What's coming for us Capricorns?
Well, let me tell you what's going on now. As the transiting sun is going through our 12th house, we're kind of behind the scenes and assessing and finishing up some projects, getting ready to start new ones at our birthday time.
Yeah, I'd say you're right on there. Yep. Oh boy, with a big move coming, I'm starting anew. It's very exciting. So what new things are you working on?
Well, this week, actually this month, but it started on Saturday, I opened a kiosk in one of the shopping centers here in Honolulu, the Ward Warehouse Shopping Center.
Lovely.
And I'm there with my art, and I'm getting such good feedback. I do self-sculpture and figurative art of people and animals, and I have lots of Santa Clauses and angels and elves and so forth.
Oh, wonderful.
And people are just fascinated by something that isn't commercially done. And they yesterday they were telling me, oh, these have life.
Oh, this is wonderful for you. So you're out in a shopping center at, my favorite time of year. I love this time. How about you? You love Christmas? You love the season?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's our season,
It's our season, isn't it? And I don't know about you, Bonnie, but I've heard all my life, oh my gosh, you were born around Christmas. That's a drag. Heck no. I love it. It's just even that much more to celebrate,
That's true.
Yeah. So this is really great. You're an artist. And so do you combine art with astrology? Like, is there any correlation there?
Yes. I tend to, when the retrogrades are, and we'll talk about retrogrades later, but when there are retrogrades, I'm more quiet and in the planning phases. Then as the action phases come, I'm putting it into shape and then watching for the phase.
So there's a method to this, and and it sounds like you watch your charts and you kind of figure it out according to that. When is a good time to plan? When is a good time to implement? And has it really worked for you there?
Certainly has.
Very interesting. So, pharmaceuticals, and that, of course, is a science with great study. How did that career assist you in your current career? Is there any connection there? You do a lot of different things. Being that it is another science, did being a pharmacist help you understand astrology in some way, or the approach to the study of it?
The ability to spend hours and hours delving into things, and then to really understand the principles of it, and then to practice it. Yes, that was another extension of the things I learned in pharmacy school.
Mm-hmm. So a certain discipline.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And the, the mind is a muscle too, and so, or the brain rather. So it's the conditioning and the strengthening of it. And, Bonnie, what about that whole idea of the more you do, the more you can do? Did you find that came into play there?
Things become easier,
and
you spend less time doing it.
Yeah.
So you have more time to do other things.
Yeah. I would have to agree with that. You embarked on many different layers of yourself and your career, and I, too, did that. And I agree. That's what's interesting about that is as you master an approach to one thing, you can take that approach.
You think that will be it, but that just opens the doors for many other things.
Right. But that approach can assist in implementing many other things. And then right. And as you said, those other things become easier. So it's almost developing a kind of formula to many things, which is very cool. So everybody listening, if you want to go on, there's a site. It's an interactive website for questions, astrologyconsultantservice.com. All one word, astrologyconsultantservice.com. And there's an art website. Bonnie's art is really very unique, very colorful, interesting. She uses a lot of different items such as beading and sequins, and they're really beautiful. That's BonniePrebula.com, BonnieGPrebula, and that's P for pretty. BonnieGPrebula.com. Email is bonniegp@aol.com. So what kinds of things, you mentioned angels and Santa Clauses, what are people really biting at your little kiosk there?
Little bears, little Hawaiian dolls. They're going for the more miniature things right now. So that's very interesting. And on the website, I should mention, with astrology, I create astro bears in astrology jewelry. Oh. And the little astro bear, one example, is seen on that website.
Yeah, I saw that.
And my Santas and angels and elves and things are not on the website. They're all down at the kiosk, the newer things, the Christmas things.
So this kiosk, I mean, I would imagine that a lot of your time is spent alone preparing for businesses or individuals and reading their charts and, whatever else that you do. How is this different for you being out, you're in a space where there's a lot of people traffic, and how is that different for you in working in that kind of environment?
It's wonderful in that I get so much praise for my art. I really, coming from a background of sales, it's odd for me to have the product sell itself.
Yeah. Hey, it's nice not to have that hard sell. Oh, my.
Yes. All I have to do is keep saying thank you. Well, thank you.
Oh, that's
and you
wonderful.
Too.
Hey, I like that vernacular.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So the product is really successful, huh?
Yes, and they're all one of a kind. Even if I create a pattern and use it twice, it's totally different.
So how did you start collecting the material to make these items? I've got a pile of material in my house because I have an idea to make things as well. So where'd you begin? Did you start saving old material, buttons, anything you could come across?
Some, but the wonderful thing is thrift shops.
Oh, yeah.
I have become a frequent.
A junkie? A thrift store junkie?
Yes. In fact, that's part of why I started the kiosk. I create so much inventory that I needed to move these fabrics and dolls and things on out into another venue other than my own.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're just absolutely loving it. I mean, I can hear I can see your smile through the radio. You know, it sounds like you're having a ball. And, you know, you mentioned earlier that although you do different things, astrology, you know, and your art, the correlation between the two and sort of the creative process, because let's face it, astrology, although it is a science, there's also a creative part of it. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's very, very left brain. Although I do use the right brain intuitive side of it. But the creation of the soft sculptures and things, that's really pretty much right brain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
The techniques are a little bit of left brain. So between those two activities, I'm using my brain, my total brain.
Lucky girl. Boy, you're so smart. Now, when you do read a chart or you work with a client, how do you approach that? Do you ever make figurines for them as a result of a reading, or have I, hit on some hot idea here?
I have been tempted to sometimes do a large soft sculpture, but I really haven't. To date, I get the idea for it, but I just haven't followed through. Mm-hmm. But I have done a piece of jewelry for several of my clients that is their sun sign characteristic.
Okay.
And I had a mother order one. I ordered the chart for her daughter, and then she had me make this pendant. And the feedback was that daughter felt so much positive energy from that pendant that she wore it all the time.
Oh, see that? Yeah. There's a real connection here. Would you call those, I think in yoga they call it a mandala? Would it be mandala?
Or mandala.
Mandala. Mm-hmm. Would you consider that sort of what you're making there?
No, I create something that is apparent at the moment they're born, mm-hmm. and then I follow it through with my feelings when I use mind science and so forth too. My feeling nature wants their success, sometimes even more than they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, are they afraid of that, you think?
Well, they don't know their own possibilities until it's pointed out to them.
Mm-hmm. And through your astrology practice, how are you helping businesses to do better?
Well, the most interesting and fascinating one took several years, and it was a family in Japan, and we started out with the individuals in the family, and then they decided to build a huge hospital. Mm-hmm. And we picked timing, forecasting, and so forth, and they did. And we looked at the compatibilities of the department heads and so forth. So it was a wonderful, wonderful example of how well that can work, how well astrology can work for a huge business.
Oh, that's wonderful. Are some of your clients, is it sort of a balance of both individuals and businesses? And how do you get your clients?
Word of mouth as much as anything. Oh. And I do have my website.
Obviously.
And they can ask me questions and reserve an appointment for charts. Mm-hmm. And I should mention, too, that a lot of the businesses I work with are starting up. They're startup businesses.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's what the hospital was, really, from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So they actually have some more strengths in using it that way mm-hmm. to increase their business.
Beautiful. So startups, large and small?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the size doesn't really matter. It can be a 10-person staff or 200 people. So what do you do? What kinds of things do you start working with there?
Well, I take the birth of the business, date of incorporation. And I also look at the date the doors open. Sometimes the date of incorporation, evidently it's not really put into action yet, and it'll be some of the later dates, important dates, that will really show up to assist more in the tracking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So do numbers come into play here, numerology?
I don't use numerology, but it all tells the same story.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so inclined to look at numbers. I don't even know. I think it started when someone in my family passed away, and the date was so, I don't know what it was. It just really rang for me. And ever since, I always look at dates and where I am, and there seems to be some real correlation there. So again, to our listeners, www.astrologyconsultantservice.com. That's an interactive site. You can put questions on there. Bonnie will get back to you. And for her wonderful art, www.bonniegprebula.com, or email Bonnie at bonniegp@aol.com. So, we're winding down a little bit. We have about 5 minutes to go here. Tell us a little bit about, maybe some new things that you're discovering in your practice.
Okay, one of the things I should mention, too, is on that interactive website, people can read other people's comments. A lot of them I post, unless they're very private. Mm-hmm. And they can read other people's comments and my answer to them.
Great. Oh, that's
and
good.
And people seem to peruse that. Mm-hmm. I'm so into, that was a year ago, but they're reading that and getting information that's useful to them all the time.
Sure. And the years fly by, so that information's still pertinent now.
Yes, because the Mercury retrograde is characterized by the same sort of thing as is Mars. And
we're going to talk about that in our next segment. You're going to be back with us shortly, so that'll be great. We'll focus a little bit more on retrogrades, what they mean, and are we in one now? Are we coming into one? And I've got an interesting question for our next segment. I'll just keep it a little secret, and we can lure people to stay tuned. So again, astrologyconsultantservice.com and bonniegprebula.com. That's the art website. Send Bonnie an email, bonniegp@aol.com. So you're going to be going to your kiosk today, huh? You've got some long day there. Tell us about it.
Yes, I open at 10 a.m., which gives me plenty of time to do things like this and talk to you and our listeners. And then I get all this wonderful feedback and sell a few things.
Beautiful. So how big is your cart? Do you have a little stand? Do you have a push cart? What is it?
It's about, I could push it. No, it stays in one place, and it all of the sides roll up. Uh-huh. And what I love about it is that you put things in at the first of the month, and you sell from that, and then if there's anything left, you can leave it in until the end of the month.
Great.
So it's not a pack up and go every day sort of thing.
Oh, that makes it so much easier, as opposed to being at a craft fair where that setup and takedown can really be very time-consuming.
That's not my style.
Yeah, mine either, Bonnie. I want
and my things are pretty upscale for a craft fair.
Well, like you, I want the shortest road from A to B, I'm tired. I don't want to do all that physical work anymore. So to all you Capricorns out there, as we head into Capricorn, I want to wish all of you Capricorns happy birthday, happy holidays. To me, it's a very heightened time of celebration and faith and, just that whole wonder of life itself. Right, Bonnie?
Right. And let's not forget the Sagittarius people, because it's their birthday until December 21st.
That's right. That's right. All right. Let's give a shout out to all the Sagittarians out there.
Yeah. So we're in the waiting wings behind the scenes until December 21st.
You know, as we close out here, Bonnie, tell us a little bit. Sag seems to appear a lot in a Capricorn's life, doesn't it?
Sure has in mine. I married one 54 years ago.
Wow. That's incredible.
And he should remain an unknown to me because his Sagittarius sun is in my 12th house. But we are born the same year, and we have all the planets are within 1 degree or so of being the same. So we have so many things that connect us.
Oh, it's beautiful. Well, it sounds like it's working, Bonnie.
I wouldn't have stayed for 54 years if it didn't work.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's a testament to, you know, so many things, and congratulations. And happy holidays to everybody listening here. Once again, www.astrologyconsultantservice.com, interactive site there, and www.bonniegprebula.com, which is her amazing art website. Send her an email, bonniegp@aol.com. And Bonnie, I want to thank you for being here. It's been so much fun.
It is delightful. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Well, you're going to come back with us again. Stay tuned, everybody, for another segment coming up soon. In your opinion, is the universe expanding?
That's the natural way of all things in the universe, yes.
Growing.
Expansion. And in our own personal lives, whatever we focus on gets bigger, expands too. So we need to really watch our self-talk and watch what we're saying about activities that are going on and make sure they're going in the direction we want them to go.
That's amazing advice. You know, whatever you focus on, people, it expands. Yes, I believe that. I've seen it happen. And thank you for, you know, reiterating that. So let's focus on positive energy, love, kindness. And Bonnie, thank you so much once again for joining us.
My pleasure.
And that's it for today. I'm your host, Christine Larkin. Thank you for tuning in to Genesis Global Radio, the origin of information. We look forward to having you back with us again.
For upcoming segments, log on to www.genesisglobalmedia.com and keep your finger on the pulse of the hottest brands on the planet.